guys, we have a beautiful full-length practice today. I'm going to cover the whole body, head to toe, getting beautifully stretched out and mindful. So all you need is your lovely self on your mat, and let's get started. So closing off the eyes now. Take a long breath in, sit up nice and tall. And exhale slowly through the nose or mouth here. Again, breathe in tall. Breathe out slow. Finding mindfulness throughout the entire body. You can maintain this length breath if you like. Noticing any areas of discomfort throughout the body. Any aches or pains. Any areas of tightness or weakness. Let's take one more big breath here. Slowly let it go. Gently opening up the eyes if you like. We're going to take a nice big reach. So bring the arms out wide. Inhale, nice high reach. Gaze where your hands go. Exhale, twist your right side first, looking over behind your right shoulder. So we're gently holding on with the left hand to the right knee, lengthening tall, and exhaling, twisting. And really turn your head behind as well, not just the shoulders. Let's inhale, come back to face the front, wide arm reach up high. Exhale, twist to the left side. And we're going to flow from side to side here today, but just take another breath here before moving through. Okay, follow my breath then. Inhale, unwind, wide reach up high. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, twist. One more each side. Inhale, unwind and reach. Exhale. One more to the other side. Exhale into it. Last inhale to unwind. This time exhale, reach your right hand over to the right side and exhale, round the body over, reaching your left arm actively. So we're not relaxing here, keep it reaching. Keep the sit bones grounded and lower that elbow down as much as it can. Don't worry if the elbow doesn't touch the ground, just go to where you can here. Inhale, open the torso up, gazing up towards the ceiling if that serves your neck well. Otherwise, just look out in front. Now, I recommend you close your eyes whenever you can too. So in this pose, you can certainly close the eyes. And inhale, rise on up, eyes open or closed. Exhale over to the left. Open the ribs, the neck, breathe through it. Deep breath whenever you can remember. Last breath here. And inhale, rise both hands up high. Exhale them down through heart center. Let's flip over into tabletop then. So I'll meet you there. Once we're in our tabletop position, just form a couple of cat-cow postures. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Inhale, drop the belly button down, lift the chest and chin. Exhale, push the back to the sky, round through the spine and every vertebrae. Inhale, back to cow pose. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to a neutral spine. And depending where you are on your mat, just reach your hands a little further in front of you or your knees a little further behind. Toes tuck underneath. Let's lift back and up to downward facing dog with the knees bent to start off with. Feet are about hip width apart here. Gaze to the hands. Make sure the fingers are spread out wide, shoulder width apart. Everything is usually in line with the entire body. Start to pedal out the legs then, nice and slow and steady. Notice how that feels. Drooping the chest down, drawing the belly in, keeping it braced. Take one more breath here, find stillness in the lower body. Inhale, rise onto both sets of tippy toes. Exhale the heels back down. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. We're going to walk step, or if you want to practice a hop, you can, to meet in our forward fold. So meet the feet together at the top of your mat, rounding through the back. Really try and hinge from the hips here. Arms can dangle down towards the ground. We're going to take several breaths here. Let all of the blood rush into the head and the arms. Settling yourself in through the hamstrings. Now the knees start off bent here, but if you're feeling warmed up already, you can start to straighten out those legs a little more. Just be mindful of what serves you best here this morning. If you prefer, you can bring your arms into ragdoll, which is holding onto opposite elbows. Tucking the chin, letting the head drop down between the arms. Feel free to rock a little forwards and backwards from heels to toes, and then find balance, keeping a steady foundation. Feel the spine lengthen and be free of compression. Take one more breath here. We're going to release the arms down then, reaching towards the ground or planting the hands on the ground if you can reach that far with bent knees or straight legs. Inhale, lift to a halfway lift. Now halfway lift can either be fingertips to the mat, which is our peace fingers. If you can't reach there with straight arms, legs and back, you're going to need to bring your hands up to your shins or maybe even your knees here. So find that halfway lift and then exhale, fold it back down. Now you can bring your hands to the legs or the calves if you wish, not pulling yourself in here too much though. So generally you can reach towards the ground if that's what you can today. Doesn't matter if you can't touch. Let's go again. Inhale, halfway lift, whether it's fingertips to the mat or to the shin. Draw the shoulders down and back, and that's going to help flatten out your back here. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, one more halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Going to soften the knees. Inhale, draw the belly in, squeeze the glutes, rise up to stand. Nice big arm reach as we come up to the top. Slight back bend if you wish. Exhale, hands down through heart center and take a moment there. Find your balance throughout the feet. We have a balanced posture now, so we're going to ground our left foot really tightly into the mat. From here, we're going to inhale, open your right knee up in front of you. So take it slow, brace the tummy and every other muscle as well. The more we can brace, the more we have control. Now we're going to bring our right foot into our hand. So start to bring that right foot behind you. Right hand reaches for it. And we're going to come into a nice quad stretch here. Now your left hand, I've got it in half prayer pose. But by all means, feel free to have it out for balance here. Now we want the knee, that right knee, to come further back behind. So start to bring it back, but not curving through the body here. Just that right leg is moving. And from this quad stretch, keep the control there. We're going to release that right foot and hand. Both hands back to prayer pose. Step your right foot back. So ground the entire right foot and turn that right foot out towards the long edge of your mat. We're going to lunge down into that left knee. If the knee goes over the ankles, wriggle those toes forwards. You need a bigger step. Okay, inhale, drop the hands, sweep them out shoulder height. Warrior two, lunges low into that pose as feels comfortable. We need to squeeze the glutes, draw the pelvis and belly in, drop the shoulders down and back. Roll back onto that right outer edge of the foot here too, so the foot needs to be completely grounded. And breathe. Bring a little smile to the face today. Notice the hips opening up here beautifully. We're going to flow with the breath with a Vinyasa flow. So inhale, turn your left palm up and lean back to rest your right hand to your right leg as you recline into a reverse warrior. Then we're going to come back to our warrior two. Okay, so inhale, turn the left hand up and reverse. And exhale, bring it back to warrior two. 3 more times. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, back. Keep lunging in that front leg. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, back to warrior two. Strength here. Inhale, back. Exhale, windmill all the way, both hands either side of that front foot. Pivot onto the toes. We're going to step back to a forward fold. So really big step or a few steps together with the feet at the top. Forward fold here. Knees can be bent or straight. Inhale, halfway lift. Remember, your length here is your choosing, but you need to have a long flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Knees can be bent or straight there too. Inhale, rise up to stand. Nice big roll through the spine. Reach with the arms. Hands down through heart center. Okay, balance pose. We're going to balance through the right foot, so really spread the toes out, grip them into the mat. Sweep your left hand back onto your left foot and connect those two together. Remember, you can have your arm out for balance, but try not to rest on anything. It's all part of the challenge, okay? Draw the belly in, spine tall, and start to draw that left knee a little further behind you. Lengthening tall. Breathing deeply. Finding your drishti. Your drishti is your focal point. Somewhere out in the distance. Not too far, something that's not moving preferably. Squeezing the glutes, pushing into the feet. Okay, hold that pose, remember, but hover that left knee back in front of us for now. Both hands come into prayer pose. We're going to step the left foot back, so big step back, turn the toes out to the long edge of your mat again, and we're going to lunge down into that right knee. So nice and low there. Open the arms out shoulder height, right hand is in front. And again, just sink as low as you want to here. The lower you go, the more it's going to open up those hips. Drop the shoulders down and back. Draw the belly and pelvis forwards and in. And breathe. We're going to reverse our warrior then. Inhale, turn the right palm up. Lean back, rest the left hand to the left leg with a straight arm. And just as far back as comfortable. Inhale, exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale to two. Keep lunging in that right leg. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, back. 2 more here. Your breath might be longer or shorter. 1 more. Beautiful. Let's come into a downward facing dog. So both hands ground either side of that front foot. Might be a little stuck there, so just slide it on back, meeting in downward facing dog. You can pedal it out if you'd like to. You can hold it still if you prefer. Finding your breath. Beautiful. Inhale, rise onto the tippy toes. We're going to lower down into a hand plank. So drop the hips and the hands want to be stacked under the shoulders. So generally our downward facing dog should automatically bring us into this position. So come back to downward facing dog from there and notice that it's quite a long downward dog, and that's good, that's what we want. Let's come back to our plank. Inhale, tippy toes, hover over the wrists. Drop the knees here, but keep the hips flat. We're going to lower the chest down halfway and then untuck the toes. Inhale, drop the hips, but lift the chest up. So we've got a little Vinyasa variation there. Lower all the way down with the chest and belly. Tuck the toes back under. Inhale, push up with the elbows really tucked in. Tricep and chest strength here. Lift into plank. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Take a breath there. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Walk, step or hop to the very top. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Remember your height, your choosing. Exhale, fold it back down. Inhale, rise up to stand again. Big wide reach, slight back bend. Hands down through heart center. So from here, we're going to heel toe the feet wider to the width of the mat. And then just bring the toes slightly off the edge of the mat here. And now your hip widths are going to be different for me to you. You know, we're all going to have different width hips in our yogi squat we're coming into. So keep the hands at the heart center. Inhale, tall spine. We're going to exhale, poke the hips back behind us and squat down. Now you might want to stay here. If you want to take it further, bring the elbows to the inside edges of the knees and really push them out. If you can go lower with the hips, go for it. Again, this is where you might need to narrow or widen your feet here. Now, if you're halfway up, that's totally fine, stay there. It's going to be harder work for you though, so don't worry if your legs are stressing out because they're working hard. When we're low like this, it's more of a restful position. Deeper stretch through the inner thighs though. Take a few more breaths here. We're building strength and flexibility all at the same time. Drop the shoulders down, keep the posture long. You've got this, 1 more breath. Trying to keep the heels grounded here too, so don't go any lower if your heels start to rise off. All right, time to come out of the pose, one of the hardest parts. Power through the legs. Lift all the way back up to stand and meet the feet together in prayer pose. Beautiful. Alrighty, let's take it further. Inhale, drop the hands, wide reach up high. Keep the hands up high in chair pose. Exhale, squat down into that seated chair. Breathe here, long flat back. We don't want to be rounding here, so really try and create almost a back bend. Breathe through it, squat low, feet and knees are together here. And we're going to bring our right hand to the right knee, but turn the knuckles so the knuckles are pressing against the knee. With your left hand then, sweep it down and back behind you to open into a spinal twist. Breathe here for one more breath, in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, come back. Both arms are going to sweep up into chair pose. Exhale, left hand comes down, knuckles to knee. That's it. Drop the right arm down and back, up and around. Big circle. Twisting and reaching. Follow your gaze to that right hand here. Beautiful twist. Strengthening the shoulders and the back here. Get those hips low. And sweep that right arm back, down and around. Reach both hands up to chair pose one last time. And forward fold, straightening the legs out a little more. Reaching the hands downwards. Beautiful work. Find some warmth in the legs there, hopefully. And we're going to make our way down to the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, and just step both knees back to the middle of the mat. So now that we're back in tabletop with the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, we're going to come into bird dog. So bird dog, we want to inhale, draw the belly in, but keep the spine nice and long, and lengthen out your right leg first, pointing the toes. So from there, we want to bring out the left arm long, reaching out. So as though we're reaching for opposite ends of the body. We've inhaled again now, prepare, and exhale, round the back, really tuck the elbow and knee in towards one another. If you can touch, great. If you've got an easy reach there, bring the elbow to the inside of the knee, reaching even more. Inhale to reach out back long. Exhale in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale, reach. This time, bend the right leg that's behind you and reach your left hand back for that right leg. If you can't reach, you might just need to hover it there and you can just plant both hands and lead the knee up high. If you can reach it, what we want to do is flex the foot, hold onto the ankle if you can, and sort of lift your right foot, kicking it towards the ceiling. So we're in a half bow pose here. Breathe there. Find the arms starting to really build some strength here. And what we're doing is creating a little back bend through the lower back, and the entire back really. Alright, gently release the hands and the knees. Knees hip width apart, untuck the toes, rest in child's pose just briefly. Reach those arms long, tuck the head down, and relax. Drop the elbows. Really notice the difference from side to side. That right hand and arm will be working quite hard there to strengthen the body, support us. We're going to inhale, come back into tabletop. Bring the hands under the knees. Hands under the shoulders rather. Inhale, lengthen your left leg out long, point the toes. Draw the belly and ribs in. And again, bring your right arm out this time. So we're inhale, really reaching long. Then exhale, tuck it in, elbow to knee or further if you can. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. This time, keep reaching. Bend that left knee in. Reach around for that your left foot with your right hand. Flex the foot so it's reaching towards the ceiling. Hold on to that ankle if you can more so. Push that heel up high and really resist the pressure against the hand. So it's a strong grip here. Find your balance. You can be a little wonky here. Lift high Breathe through it, opening through the chest and the shoulders here as well as your left hip flexor. One more breath. And gently control that release. Wonderful. All right, that should feel good. We're going to come into thread the needle now. So knees can come a little wider than hip width apart. Keep your hands under the shoulders to start off with. With your right hand, inhale, open that right arm wide and high. So we're unthreading the needle first. Exhale, thread that right arm all the way through. Rest the right shoulder and side of the head down. Now your left hand is in front of your face. Move it to wherever is necessary to be comfortable. And breathe there. Find a steady breath. I'm just going to swap sides in case you need to see from a different angle. So the left hand is pushing up, a bit like a push-up position. Knuckles are pushing down into the mat on the other hand. And we're really threading through the spine here. Rest the head. Deep breath. Keeping the hips nice and square, not letting them sway off to the side too much. One more breath now. Okay, let's push into the left hand. Unwind that right arm all the way back where we first started. So open it up. Exhale it back to the mat. Wonderful. Straight to the other side. Inhale, left arm wide and high. Exhale, thread that left arm under the right side. Drop the left shoulder and side of the head. Move your right hand wherever you need to get comfortable. So we are pushing into that hand a little bit with both hands. Left knuckles, fan out the fingers long here. And breathe, closing off the eyes through this yummy twist. This one hopefully feeling through the torso, maybe in between the shoulder blades or the neck. Relax the jaw, eyebrows. Taking one more breath in this twist. All right, push into that right hand that's grounded. Unthread all the way, left arm wide and high. Exhale it back to the mat. Nice. We're going to come down onto our bellies then. So just bring the hands forwards. Feel free to tuck the toes, lift into plank, or keep the knees down. We're going to drop all the way down onto the belly. So we're going to come into a nice big chest stretch now. You're going to bring your right arm out shoulder height first. And then we're going to bring your left hand in next to your ribs here. From there then, we're going to bend the left foot towards the ceiling. Rest your right cheek down and open that left leg behind you to ground the toes or the foot if you can. Your left hand stays planted into the mat to help open the chest. Head stays resting down. Let's take 3 breaths here. Notice that the right palm behind you, the one you can't see, is still pressing into the ground. It hasn't slid any lower. Notice the right chest and shoulder area being beautifully stretched out. One more breath. And inhale, wind it back onto the belly. Both hands in next to the chest, little cobra here. So either side of the ribs or chest here. Tuck the elbows in, untuck the toes. Inhale, push into the hands, squeeze the glutes and lower back. Drop the shoulders down. Exhale, release. 2 more times, nose to mat. Inhale, roll it up, lift the chest and chin. Exhale, back down. One more, inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift to a mini cobra. Open your left hand out shoulder height. Your right hand stays planted next to your right side. Left cheek to the mat as we bend the right foot. Open that right foot, roll over onto the hips behind you. So make sure you've got space here. You need to have the palms grounded. And notice how this feels on this side. Should really feel it in the left side chest muscle. If you feel it elsewhere, just maybe be mindful that you are potentially tight in those areas. If you feel funny in the hip or lower back here, you might just like to bend both knees and rest in a bit of a fetal position there. So keep that in mind here. Otherwise, your left leg is out long, right knee pointing up and behind you, and find your breath again. One more breath now. As always, make it a big, meaningful breath. When you're ready, let the breath go. Inhale back onto the spine. Both hands either side of the chest. From there, inhale, start to lift the chest, tuck the toes, press up into a push-up position. We're going to come into a wide child's pose. So bring the knees to the width of the mat, big toes to touch. Exhale, sink the hips back to the heels and reach the arms long out in front. Keep the elbows lifted to start off with. Rest the forehead down. So imagine a gentle magnetic pull, drawing the hips towards the heels. Yet the arms are also magnetically pulled towards the top edge of your mat. Find a nice long breath here. Welcoming in a slower pace. Take one last big breath here. Breathe all the way into the belly. All the way out. Really ground into the hands. Inhale, lift the head, press back into tabletop position. Bring the knees and the hands all underneath the joints. Wonderful. From there, we're going to come up into a kneeling position. So make sure the knees are hip width apart. Rise all the way up. And bring your hands to the lower back here. So what we're going to do is either hold hands like you've got pockets or the thumbs pressing into the little lower back there. Either way, draw the ribs and chest high, suck the belly in, and squeeze the glutes, pressing the hips forwards a little. It doesn't have to be a big movement here, so just be mindful that you're not overdoing it. If it hurts your back or doesn't feel right, just come back and rest in child's pose for me. Otherwise, inhale, keep the length there. Exhale, looking down to your right shoulder. See if you can rest your right hand to your heel. Now, if you can't, just stay where you are. If you can, or almost there, tuck the toes underneath and rest your right hand onto your heel there. It can just be the fingers here too. So a lot of glute action here and tummy activity. Inhale, reach your left arm up and over behind you for a little back bend here. Gaze up towards the ceiling or down towards that right shoulder, whatever feels best. And as we come back, exhale the hips to the heels, drop that left arm down all the way to the left ankle. Inhale your right arm up and into a nice little back bend here again. Now if we're not in these side camel pose, Just staying with both hands on your back there. So you've got the options. Last breath here. Exhale, heels and hips connect. Both hands come down to the knees. And we're going to come back to tabletop. All right. We're going to come into downward dog. So bring the hands a little further in front of you. Tuck the toes underneath. Exhale, draw the belly in. Lift the hips high to the ceiling. And then slowly, maybe pedaling out those legs, bringing a little length into the hamstrings again. Really melting the chest down, letting go of any tension from within the spine. Now, before we come into pigeon, inhale to plank pose. And notice that from downward dog, you should come into a nice forming plank. If not, wriggle the legs into position. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Keep the hands and feet grounded where they are. We're going to inhale your right leg, lead the heel towards the ceiling. We're going to bend the knee and open that right hip up. So we're getting an open downward dog here. Hold that there. Keep the chest square though. So if you find that your upper body starts moving to the side, you might lose your balance. Just the right leg here. Glute squeeze here, opening up the hips. Inhale, bring that right knee all the way into the right wrist. Bring the foot across the mat as you plant that right knee down. Lots happening there. So we're in pigeon pose. Wriggle those hips in. Just let them settle into place here. Untuck the left toes behind you. Find length through the spine. And see if you can stay elevated here. Often we come down to the elbows, but today we're really lifting through the chest to get a little hip flexor stretch on the left side. Drop the shoulders down and back. Welcoming a little smile to the face. And over time, maybe wriggling that right foot a little higher. See if you can flex your right toes towards the shin. That's going to intensify it. Remember, breathing into the belly wherever you remember. Close off the eyes. Go by feel rather than visual. And really plant the hands now. Tuck the left toes underneath. Lift that left knee up. Draw the belly in. Step back to downward facing dog. Meet there in a nice long downward dog. Take a few moments. Enjoy this pose. And again, inhale. This time the left side though. Lead the left heel up. Bend the knee so that the left heel is sort of coming over behind you a little bit, but keep the chest drooping down. This is our three-legged dog. So we're opening through the hip joints, squeezing the glutes here, quite an unusual pose. Make sure you breathe. Couple more breaths. Really press through the fingertips here, not just the wrists. Last breath now. Inhale, bring that left knee in towards the left wrist. Foot comes across the mat as you drop the left knee down there. Oh, my left side is feeling tight today. Use your right foot to inch yourself back. Settle those hips in. I like to come onto spider fingers, but you do what feels best for you, whether it's palms or even your knuckles if you get sore wrists. Choose your variation here. And just let those hips sink into the pose. Again, we want to have a nice long chest here. Dropping the shoulders and neck down a little. Breathe through this beautiful elevated pigeon pose variation. Notice your left foot. See if you can flex the toes towards the shin to intensify it if you need that. You may not. Every breath into the belly and out of the belly. A couple more breaths here. Alright, stay in this pigeon pose, but we're going to roll onto that left hip and sweep your right leg all the way around into our seated position. So once we get to that seated position, we're actually going to straighten the legs out in front of us. So you can keep your heels on the mat for now. We're not going to recline down just yet, but we're going to do a little forward fold reach and then a little recline. Now if anyone's got a sore back, just come back to a nice tall seated position here. So let's inhale, palms up, long spine, feet flexing towards the shins as always. So we can have feet flexing with knees bent, but we need to have the legs straight for this pose. Alright, exhale, turn the palms down, reach towards the toes. If you can reach past the toes, go for it. Inhale, tall spine, turn the palms up. Maybe recline back if you've got that strength there today. And then exhale, forwards, forward fold, reach and hold. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, forwards. One more, inhale, up and back. And exhale, forwards. This time, rest the hands to the feet or to the legs, whatever you can reach here. And just gently round yourself down into that pose. So keep the legs straight. As much as you might want to bend the knees, this one we're keeping the legs straight. You may find that yourself is rounding through the back. If you do, not that you have a strap at home, but if you do by any chance, wrap it around both feet. Inhale, tall spine, and hinge from the hip joints here. So we're really trying to get the hamstrings close behind the glute and behind the knees here. Once you do get as much fold from the hips as you can, by all means, you can round through the back a little here. I find it quite nice to tuck the chin down. It's a whole vertebrae stretch then, not just through the hammies. Remembering that we're just giving ourselves a little bit of effort in this fold. So quads switched on, tummy switched on, and your arms can gently support you into the pose. No ego, we're not really, trying to exaggerate that fold too much. Last breath now. And inhale, rise back up to a nice tall seated position. We're going to do a little quad stretch. So ground your left hand just to your left side, roll onto the left hip so we can flick that right foot back around behind us. Now if you can't do that, you're going to need to pop your hips on a bolster or a cushion and pop that right underneath the hips. Hopefully you can do this one, and from there we're going to recline back. So start to walk the hands behind you, keep the chest long and the hips grounded. So we don't want to be rolling off to either side too much. If your heel is right under your hip, again, move it off to the side. It depends on your quad flexibility here. Either way, start to recline as far back as you can. This might be enough, or even just upright enough for you. If you can take it further, gently do so. So the further reclined you go, the more intensity you're going to have in that quad. We also want to keep that left foot flexing towards us. So there is a lot of effort here in this pose. Now, please don't let your ego come into this pose, but you may want to hold onto your legs and gently rest yourself down even further. Now, it's okay to have a little back arch here because that just means that it's quite an intense stretch. The less intense it is for you, the flatter your back will be against the ground, but that doesn't matter too much. Just enjoy the pose. Hands can come by the sides or on your belly. And breathe through that. Make sure the tummy is switched on a little bit to protect the lower back. If it is too much on the back, you're coming too far into the pose. Last breath here. Let it all go. Now, depending how far you're reclined, you might want to hold on to the legs, push into the elbows, tuck the chin, lift yourself up however you can, and we're going to thread that right leg. So stretch it out. Other side, left foot tucks in behind you, and remember, we might be a little lopsided here, so just take your time. Don't force anything here. All right. If you need to move that bolster, if you've got one, do that now. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, bring the hands behind you. Wriggle those hips around. Try and keep that knee down too. I didn't mention that on the other side, but if the knee comes up, it means that we're getting more of a stretch in the ankle rather than the quads. So make sure that knee stays down before taking it any further. Flex the right foot. Lift the chest and shoulders once again. And just take your own time to recline as much as you like here. Remember, just because you might have gone down fully on the other side or whatever, doesn't have to be the same on this side. No ego. Like most poses, the more flexible you do become, the easier they're going to get and the more restful they will be. But it all takes time, effort, persistence. Just like riding a bike, we can't expect to nail it the first time. It takes practice. Noticing the body, everything is as square as can be. Not leaning off to the side too much. Slowing right down. Let's take one more breath in this half hero pose. Let the breath go. Use the hands and elbows however you need to rise yourself back up. Unthread the legs. If you're using any props, just move them out the way. And we're going to lengthen the legs out nice and long here. Bring the arms out as well. And we're going to shimmy our hips to make the heels come right off the edge of the mat. So that's a great little lower back release there. All right, let's recline down. Inhale, tall spine first. Exhale, 3 breaths. So come a third of the way down and pause. Inhale, long spine, shoulders back. Exhale, 2/3. Last breath. Shaken. Exhale down all the way. Once we get there, hug the right knee into the chest and roll that right knee over to the left side. Bring your right arm out and look over to that right arm. So nice little spinal twist here. Breathe through it. Make sure you really wriggle the hips around, deepening that twist. Soften where necessary. Notice where you feel it. And one last breath in this spinal twist. Brace the tummy, roll back onto the spine, and lengthen that right leg out long. We're going to bring the left knee in, hug it in, adjust the back and hips as necessary. Roll that knee over to the right side. As you do, look over to that left arm that's out shoulder height. Twist the hips around. Come into that gorgeous spinal twist. Find your breath. Notice where you feel it on this side. Bringing out any last toxicity within the body, throughout the organs and so forth. Take your time then to roll back onto the spine. Hug both knees into the chest for our final little pose. And we're going to do a little tummy exercise to release the pose. So keep the knees at the chest. Bring your hands either side of your body. And we're going to straighten both legs up to the ceiling as much as we can. If you're tight in the hand knees, your knees will be a little bent. Otherwise, inhale, lower your right leg down while keeping the left leg there. Great tummy strength here. Ground the heel. Inhale, press into that right heel a little bit, and exhale, lower your left leg down. Tummy should really be switching on here. Once you get there, tuck the hips underneath, tuck the shoulders underneath, bring the hands out wide, or maybe onto the belly and chest. If you have any eye pillows, now's a great time to pop them on. And allow yourself to settle in here. Pop a blanket on if you wish. I'm going to take 3 big breaths here. In through the nose. Sigh it out. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Release how you please. And let yourself come into a still and silent place. Make sure that you're relaxed and comfortable. Any thoughts that arise that are distracting you from being present, just breathe them out of your mind. Do that whenever is necessary. And as you lie here, take a breath in, let it go. Starting to notice where you are, wriggling the fingers and the toes, into the ankles and the wrists. And when you're ready, take a big reach over your head. Point the toes, feet together, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, draw the knees into the chest. When you're ready, roll over onto your right hand side in the fetal position and rest there for a moment or two. From there, take a breath and rising up into our cross-legged seated position where we first began. From here, we're going to find an essential oil if you have one. Press pause if you need to. I have Peace today, which is a beautiful floral yet earthy note. So it's got vetiver, which is a grass, lavender, ylang ylang, frankincense, clary sage, marjoram, and a little bit of spearmint. So I'm just going to roll a little bit on my palm there. And then we're going to rub the hands together. Alrighty, I'm going to take 3 big healing breaths here, in through the nose, hands to the face, and then exhale with your hands to your heart. Let's go. Inhale, side out. Soften the shoulders every exhale. Inhale it in. Exhale. Last one. Beautiful. Let's bring the thumbs up to the third eye. With my thumbs at my third eye, my thoughts are pure and clear. With my thumbs to my lips, my speech is pure and clear. And with my thumbs to my chest, my heart is pure and clear. I'd love you now to take at least one thought of gratitude into your day or from your day. Speaking it silently to yourself. I'm so grateful to have you joining me here today. Thank you so much. Namaste.